Okay, so last week we built this board back here behind me using reactions of voxels. And so you guys, over the week, I hope played with the boards a bit. If not, I mean, we'll just even pick up right from here. So what we're going to talk about first is just, I'm going to go over this again about the voxel. Oops. Got one hanging up out in the air for you. Okay, so we got our, what everybody calls a voxel. But like I had said, this has got 8 voxels. The vectors are the lines, panes on the sides. And the thing with this to really get over in your mind is that it isn't there by itself. It is sharing its corners, its voxels, with the 26 other cubes that are around it. And that's very important to really pick up on, because that is the premise to the game. That's when you get that in your mind, that you're always having to deal with this square box around it. I mean, it'll become easier to pre-plan your connection pieces to get the shapes that you desire in the end, because you'll know that you're going to have to do something about that space beside it in order for it to work. So, and that's like pretty much, let me just do something quickly, or quick here. Selection tools, give me some turbos. So I hope that you guys see that properly, but see how my selection box is over that area? And it's a 3x3x3 area. Now I'm going to fill that in, and see the green voxels in the center of it. And that's the one that we're always talking about, is the one that we're working with. So that's the green voxel in this demonstration. It's always the one that we're always going to place into the game, what we're always concerned about. And when we do that, we always got to think about this area though, when we're placing that voxel, because that voxel is going to affect all these ones around it. And we're going to use that connection, and that's where, if you guys want to run back to your board, I'll explain the 3 different types of reactions that we can possibly get. And so you can break down what you're going to do down to 3 different principles, what you got to consider when placing that piece. So when you look at my demonstration board, on the far right is the red reactor. And everyone sees this a lot because it's the most powerful one. Because if you look, I have it below as all there, all the 8 handles with the green in the center. If I look above, you'll see that the green, and I pulled out just the red corner with it, it only shares that corner position. And again, if you look to the left of that, you'll see the gold reactor with the orange handle. You'll see that those pieces, every one of those pieces there, will share 2 voxel corners. And then on the blue reactor, you'll see that's the one with the 6 reactors that can share 4 corners with that green piece in the center, the one that you're always working with. So depending on what's in that position from the voxel that you place into the world, you're going to have a reaction between those voxels in that location. Is that making sense?
Yes, you're saying the orange and the green together are sharing 1. I mean, the red and the green are sharing 1. The orange and the green are sharing 2. And the blue and the green are sharing 4.
Exactly. And in each of those reactors, you see that the red one that we're looking at is the other ones that are in there. Like on the red reactor would be the other 7 that have colored red, but just different material, just dollar. Represents that's the same piece as that red corner one. So on the red reactor, we have 8 corner locations that react with 8 voxels within that 26 voxel area around the cube. In the orange reactor, we have 12, because there's 12 vector lines that share locations with those voxels in that cube. And on the blue reactor, it shows that there's only the 6. Now if you add that up, 6 plus 12 plus 8 is 26. And the 27th is your center one, which is the one that you're bringing into the world.
Sounds perfect.
So no matter what in your mind, you should always consider that space when you're building, how you're going to affect that space And then if you need to bring in something that's smaller or bigger, and it's going to do, you know what it's going to do to the pieces beside it. It's going to stretch them where, because they are connected. They both share that corner. When we talk about the green corners, we might as well be talking about those other corners as well, because they're all shared. So we're actually affecting a lot bigger space than just that cube that we get when we first place it with the add tool. And this reaction is what is the premise to reactors, because like I said, on the end, the red one is the most powerful because we're only working one corner at a time. That's why we picked this as the default shape to our reactor. It's a natural one. No one made this. It's not a technique. It's just the way the game works. And all we are doing is using those corner locations to move around that corner of the centerpiece to work out a shape. And we did that last week with our beginning of our board. So for now, if you guys want, you guys got these demo boards template, you can put that away and just, if you need to, just 1 second.
So if my math is correct, anytime we place down a voxel, no matter where we put it, we are affecting 26 others.
Yes.
Okay.
The grid that we see, I mean the voxel or the cube that we see, we're actually just filling a volume. When I open up my selection box, I think I did this last week too, but I'll go over it again. When I open my selection box, that grid that you see in front of you, that's like the skeleton behind the mesh, and that's these voxels. So they're all connected. You can't break that mesh. The mesh is a continuous mesh from one corner of this island to the other corner way down below. It's one solid mesh.
That's exactly right.
And all the corners are connected already.
That makes
We don't have a
total
choice. We
sense.
can't break them. We cannot break them apart. It's a complete mesh from end to end. All we can do is put volume into one of these squares and then change the shape of the square. But when you imagine changing the shape of that square, all those squares that are around it have to accept that shape, have to move with it. So it's, say you're in a body of water in a glass, and you had some air pumped into your chest so that you swell up, the water would rise in the tank because you're taking more volume. Same thing isn't true to this diagram.
Phoenix. Zia. Hi. Thanks for the host, dear.
So if you guys want to have that template, and then we'll drop those, because now we'll go into the workshop part. Unless anyone has any more questions about it.
We have a couple questions in TeamSpeak, Draco.
Okay, so if someone wants to, let's see what this TeamSpeak. I don't usually answer questions in TeamSpeak, but I'll check them.
That's a good question. I'm going to read it out loud. So is it like a chain of molecules? They each are bonded to the adjacent, not just sitting beside them, but actually sharing the touching space. Every face, corner, and edge are shared, correct?
Correct.
That's a good answer.
Another way of looking at that from what Draco just said about the mesh on the island is, from a philosophical standpoint, look at the butterfly effect. Everything you do affects something else on down the line.
Exactly.
Yeah, that was a good, yeah.
And look at it this way, although we have a delete tool, we do not actually delete the cubes out of the game. What we do is we remove the volume that we filled into that cube space. Same with add or paint tool are almost the same thing. The paint tool is basically just change texture or change volume, whereas your add tool is to add volume.
So it's just reverting your selection back to an air voxel.
Exactly. And air is a material, and that's the thing in the game. Like for this engine to work, where there isn't texture or where there isn't a volume of texture, like our stone and wood or wherever, they have to fill those ones up with air in the time being until they are converted by us. And that's why they are making an air tool for us. I mean, it will be coming out, and it'll be a lot nicer when that tool's out, because then it'll give a lot more realism to the fact that we're working with air voxels already.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I was about to ask if we were able to shape air voxels.
Oh, we can do that too. I mean, and that's where this course will lead into, because then we're going to get into some very advanced techniques that I want to teach you guys down the road. But I really need to get everybody on page about how everything is connected, because those techniques are based around the knowledge of the skeleton, and how by doing one thing here we can do this over there. And that's where I'm going to lead you up to by doing these workshops, lead you down the same path of knowledge I followed, and just take it bit by bit. So everybody in the end is going to be an advanced builder.